I've zip tied people, their hands, and then I zip tie their feet, and then I zip tie their hands and feet together. And then if they don't have the money, we go through their house and take the equivalent of, I call it repo. I call it repossession, Yeah, my name is Ashley. I'm 51 days sober, and my childhood was pretty crazy. Both my parents went to prison very early in life. So basically, I got adopted by my grandparents. I was visiting my parents in a maximum security penitentiary on Saturdays, and on Sundays we were at church. So I ended up having to stop visiting my dad. Well, I didn't have to stop visiting him, but people, I looked a lot older than I did once I got to a teenager, and so the other inmates thought, they made remarks like, oh, is it your sister? And I was really his daughter, so that kind of, made it weird. Both my parents were in prison at the same time, so we had to go back and forth from, my mom was this Saturday and then church on Sunday, and then the next weekend it was my dad. That was his Saturday, and then church the next day. So I'm the oldest out of 8. There's a bunch of us. And yeah, my grandparents, they did everything they could to make me be a better person, but I was for sure not going to be a good person. I wanted I wanted the opposite of what they wanted for me. So I gave them a real hard time. Really crazy adolescent. First time I did drugs was when I was about 15 years old, and I didn't stop. They just got to better drugs, more drugs, and worse situations. My youngest 2 brothers, they're only 11 right now. So I'm 30, they're 11. They're like a year older than my oldest child. So yeah, it's messy. Yeah. Well, basically it's gonna be all the above. Whatever I can get my hands on, I would get high on. What I would spend the most money on was Xanax bars. I love them. And what I got strung out on though was heroin. Yeah, the first time I seen heroin, I had an ounce of it. And yeah, I basically, the last shot of heroin I did, I tied off at the neck, and I put my rig in a tequila bottle, and I drew up with tequila, and I took a thick 70 straight to the jugular. Yeah, so that's what I did. And I'm just being honest here. That was the day that was the day before I came out here. So yeah, I built up a tolerance to Xanax bars where the last run, it was the fact that it made everything chaotic, it made me able to deal with it a little bit better, because I don't deal with high stress situations very well. Mental illness, doesn't allow me to do that. So I self-medicated for sure. And I built up a tolerance to the point where the last time I got off on Xanax bars, I ate 52 Xanax bars, and I went to a prison and fought my old man at Visit. He was in prison, and I fought him and fought all the police officers as well, and caught a violent charge out of Oklahoma. My first real narcotic, I guess, would have been Xanax bars. Xanax bars. I loved them. I've never loved anything as much in my life. Everything that was a problem, 10 bars later, I didn't even know what that was, you know what I mean? Like, it was cool, it was good. And, when my dad, he got out of prison, I was like 16, and we were under the strict impression, you stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours. And we didn't do that. We butted heads the whole time. He wanted to tell me I can't take pills, and all I want to do is take pills and fight him. And I can't whoop him. Okay, there's a lot of people I can whoop, he's not one of them. So, yeah, that's my first. And then I smoked meth throughout the entire time, which is my least favorite drug. I hate meth, but I did the most of it. I hate it because, for one, when we stop cooking it, we stop getting high. And all there is ice right now, and that shit sucks. You can't even get high. Okay, and then I don't like to deal with tweakers. Okay, they steal shit. They will steal your shit and then help you look for it. Okay, so I don't like tweakers. But the reason I smoke so much meth, for one, I shoot heroin and I smoke meth, because if I shoot meth, people are getting zip tied and shit's getting set on fire. Okay, it makes me weird. Like, the feds are in the trees type shit, okay? So I would do such a thick shot of heroin, I would have to smoke meth to sober up. If that makes any sense at all. I would just have to smoke some meth because I would get way too loaded. And I would definitely sit there and be like, oh my God, I need to hit the pipe for a minute because I have to sober up. The craziest thing that I have experienced while using is having somebody owe me money and me on general principle alone, I didn't have to, but you suit up and you kick a door in. I got my buddies behind me holding a Walmart sack to drop all the phones in, okay, and I've zip tied people, their hands, and then I zip tie their feet, and then I zip tie their hands and feet together. And then if they don't have the money, we go through their house and take the equivalent of, I call it repo. I call it repossession. You owe me money, you don't have my money. That's pretty much that's what's gotten me involved in the most bullshit, is because I was kind of big time. I was the plug. I didn't go buy little sacks of dope to do. That's why I say I hate tweakers, because I would have a retarded amount of weed or meth, and I would have to, if somebody didn't have me my money, and then it's like, oh great, here we go, we're having to do this shit. And it got me into situations where I didn't know the outcome of the situation before it went down, because it's unpredictable. When you go in, these people could have guns, they could have somebody there that you didn't plan on being there, there could be kids there could be a wife there, and so, that's what it is. When I got arrested, I was picking up in Oklahoma City, and the pickup was just fine. We made it out, and we ended up stopping at a casino. And since I was fucked up on pills, I walked into this casino, and this girl, she's standing there, and the way she's looking at me just rubs me the wrong way. And so I immediately drag her down through there. I just whoop her ass. Well, the light horsemen's come. That's what in Oklahoma, because casinos are on tribal land, they're called the light horsemen. And so, yeah, it's a whole nother ballgame when you go on tribal land. I'm standing there, and lucky for me, the dude that was with her old man was way more wanted than I was. Yeah, so he was like, listen, if you don't have any other holds, we're going to let you go. Well, I have holds. I always have holds. So I was in McLean County and was just waiting for Tulsa to come get me. I couldn't be bonded out because my old man, he'll bond me out of jail immediately. He doesn't let me sit. But since there was no bond and I was just being waited for another county, I couldn't leave. And when that happened, my aunt picked my kids up from school. And when I got out, I was like, hey, I just got out. I'm on my way to go get the kids from you. And she was like, actually, you're not. And I'm like, well, I don't get it. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, fair enough. I just left my mom's house. I don't have a place to stay. Cool. Okay, I'm going to come see them. And she says, no, you cannot. There's been a no contact order because I filed for guardianship and you didn't show up to court. And I'm like, right there, my whole entire heart got ripped out of my chest, and I haven't had it back since. Okay, so my kids are with my aunt right now. But I mean, thank the Lord, she's the best person to have them. She takes good care of them. There's no other better place for them than my aunt's house. And I'm grateful for that. But what I do want to make clear is that I am a good mom. I've had my kids up until right now, and a part of me died that day. The type of treatment that helped me recover is leaving everything I knew behind and coming to 1,300 miles away from home and putting myself into a treatment or a rehab or whatever that wasn't court ordered. This is the first time. And at first I really didn't want to come. I didn't want to come. My old man, he kind of set it all up and got everything rolling for me to come out all the way out to California from Oklahoma, and I've never been out of Oklahoma. So doing that, being around good sober people, and of course the 12-step program that I'm currently working right now. I am most proud of myself for getting on the airplane and actually taking the positive steps in the right direction to recover, because I don't want it in my heart, it wasn't going to happen. And I really, nobody thought I was going to get on the airplane. Nobody even thought I would make it to Oklahoma City from Tulsa, you know what I mean? But I did. And I'm most proud of myself for wanting it now. I'm proud of myself for wanting to be clean and sober instead of wanting to be dope dealing, gangbanging, what I was. So, yeah. What I would say to someone who is struggling with addiction is to learn from my mistakes. You don't have to make your own. My mistakes, there's plenty to go around. Please just take a quick look at my story and my life and learn from it, because more times than not, people, of course, like I didn't either. I didn't listen to it. My dad's been incarcerated, my mom, all my whole family, my uncle, my whole family. And if I would have just listened to them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So if somebody would just learn from my mistakes and recover through watching or hearing what I have done to myself and my addiction would be a blessing. Yeah, just to help somebody else without them having to destroy themselves and go all the way to rock bottom first. Because, you know, you don't reach rock bottom until you stop digging. And once we get down there, where there seems like there's no way out. And there is a way out. It's through just being tired of that lifestyle and wanting it so bad that like wanting it to the point where you've never wanted anything else in your life. Like you want recovery. And that's what it is.